Taken from the U.S. Department of Interior website, and I quote, "For more than a century, tourists from all over the world have visited the Grand Canyon to experience its awe-inspiring vistas. First protected in 1893 as a reserve and later as a national monument, it wasn't until February 26, 1919, the Grand Canyon became a national park. As we celebrate nearly 100 years of protecting this special place, check out these 13 great facts about this Arizona icon. Number 1. Grand Canyon is bigger than the state of Rhode Island. The Grand Canyon is a mile deep, 277 miles long, and 18 miles wide. While the park doesn't include the entire canyon, it does measure at a whopping 1,904 square miles in total. In comparison, Rhode Island is around 1,212 square miles. Number 2, the Grand Canyon itself can influence the weather. The Grand Canyon has an elevation spanning from around 2,000 feet to over 8,000 feet, allowing it to experience a variety of weather conditions. As a result, the temperature generally increases by 5.5 degrees with each 1,000 foot of loss in elevation." End quote. Taken from the nps.gov website, and I quote, "A distinct and ordered combination of geologic events." The story begins almost 2 billion years ago with the formation of the igneous and metamorphic rocks of the inner gorge. Above these older rocks lie layer upon layer of sedimentary rock, each telling a unique part of the environmental history of the Grand Canyon region. Then, between 70 and 30 million years ago, through the action of plate tectonics, the whole region was uplifted, resulting in the high and relatively flat Colorado Plateau. Finally, beginning just 5 to 6 million years ago, the Colorado River began to carve its way downward. Further erosion by tributary streams led to the canyon's widening. Still today, these forces of nature are at work, slowly deepening and widening the Grand Canyon. End quote. Fact number 3. Hidden caves of the Grand Canyon. Tucked within the Grand Canyon are an estimated 1,000 caves, and of those, 335 have been recorded. Even fewer have been mapped or inventoried. Today, only one cave is open to the public, the Cave of the Domes on Horseshoe Mesa. Fact number 4. The Grand Canyon is one of the most visited national parks in the United States. An estimated 5.9 million people visit the Grand Canyon every year, making it the second most popular national park, following just behind Great Smoky National Park of Northern Carolina and Tennessee. It's a far cry from the annual visitation of 4,173 in 1919 when the park was created. Fact number 5. The Grand Canyon was carved over some 6 million years. Geological activity and erosion by the Colorado River created the Grand Canyon as we know it today. It's one of the most studied landscapes in the world, with extensive fossil records, a multitude of geologic features, and rich archaeological history. Interesting fact number 6. The most dangerous animal in the park is actually the rock squirrel. From bighorn sheep and the majestic California condor to the Gila monster, the Grand Canyon is home to a large array of animals. But it is the rock squirrel that causes the most trouble. Every year, dozens of visitors are bitten when they try to feed these animals. To stay safe, do not approach or feed any animal found at Grand Canyon or any other national park. Taken from the nps.gov website under rock deposition, and I quote, "The story of how Grand Canyon came to be begins with the formation of the layers and layers of rock that wind through the canyon walls. The story begins about 2 billion years ago when igneous and metamorphic rocks were formed. Then, layer upon layer of sedimentary rocks were laid upon these basement rocks. To look at the rock layers, geologists use a diagram called a stratigraphic column. It shows the rock layers with the oldest on bottom and the youngest on top. That means that the bottom layer was formed first, and every subsequent layer was formed after, with the youngest rocks on top. In geology, this is referred to as the principle of superpositioning, meaning the rocks on top are generally younger than the rocks below them. Another important principle is a principle of original horizontal. This means that the rock layers were laid horizontally. If rock layers appear tilted, it's due to some geologic event that occurred after the rocks were originally deposited. End quote. Fact number 7. Visiting the North and South Rim in the same day may be harder than you think. As a crow flies, Grand Canyon Village on the South Rim and the Lodge on the North Rim are only about 10 miles apart. However, to drive between them through the park, over the Colorado River, and loop around the canyon, you have to travel 215 miles or about 5 hours. This is just one small way to understand the immensity of this incredible place. Fact number 8. You can get an aerial view of the Grand Canyon without ever leaving the ground. The Skywalk, managed by the Antelope tribe and located on tribal lands, consists of a horseshoe-shaped steel frame with a glass floor that slides and projects about 70 feet from the canyon rim. It is the most popular attraction in Grand Canyon West. Number 9. Souvenirs may be bought but not taken. Grand Canyon National Park, a World Heritage Site, belongs to everyone. Rocks, plants, wood, and artifacts must be left where you found them so others can enjoy them in the future. Number 10. Controlled fires are good for the canyon's landscape. Fire has been part of the Colorado landscape ecosystem for thousands of years. It naturally thins out the forests, recycles nutrients in the soil, and stimulates new plant growth. Fire managers at Grand Canyon National Park work to strike a balance between restoring and maintaining natural processes associated with fire and protecting human life and property. Number 11. Would you like to have the canyon to yourself? If so, head to Tuweep, or also pronounced Torweep. It's a vista that offers a chance for an uncrowded, rustic, and dramatic experience of the Grand Canyon. Here, a 3,000-foot sheer drop provides stunning views of the north rim of the Grand Canyon and the Colorado River. But be warned, the area can only be reached by negotiating difficult roads with a high-clearance vehicle. Number 12. Hit the trail for some of the best views in the world. Mule trips, rafting in the Colorado River, and stargazing. There is so much to do at the Grand Canyon. If you can only do one thing, however, take a hike. Whether it's a long or short hike, all of it is spectacular and amazing. Please enjoy. Interesting fact number 13. Teddy Roosevelt was instrumental in protecting the Grand Canyon. President Theodore Roosevelt first visited the Grand Canyon in 1903 and was so deeply moved by the landscape that in 1906, Roosevelt signed a bill that proclaimed the area Grand Canyon as a game reserve. And then 2 years later, he made it a national monument. Of the Grand Canyon, he said, and I quote, "Leave it as it is. You cannot improve it. The ages have done work on it, and man can only mar it." End quote. Thank you for joining us for another edition of Whitey's World. Today's adventure took us to the mighty Grand Canyon, located conveniently a few hours outside of Page, Arizona. Please take a look at our other videos that highlight the many adventures located near the wonderful city of Page, Arizona. We look forward to seeing you on our next adventure, and always, plan ahead and please drive safe.